Hey creatives, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nele and I make videos about bullet journaling and creativity. Today it's time to set up my bullet journal for February and this is what we're gonna do in this video. I struggled a bit with coming up with a theme, probably because now I feel the pressure's on to create something creative every time I set up my bullet journal. And I went a bit back and forth between the idea of doing like a flower theme or to create something that has a vibe. And I decided for the vibe and I wanted to go for like a cozy self-care based theme. Yeah, this is what we're doing today. So I'm really happy that we're back with a normal bullet journal setup. That's definitely, I think, my favorite video to do. So yeah, let's stop the talking and start the planning. Alright, we are starting February with a cover page and an illustration for that. I wanted to create something cozy, a reading scene that would remind me to just chill and relax, and that reading or gaming, if that's the only thing you do in a day, is enough sometimes. And to create that, I of course went on Pinterest and I found some pictures I took as references and I linked them down below. I always find it sad that it's hard to find the original artists of stuff on Pinterest. And before I went in with the colors, I actually did something kind of new. I took a photo of the sketch and put it in my kind of Photoshop program. It's not Photoshop, doesn't matter. And I colored it in digitally before, so that I could make sure that I like the colors I had in mind. And that worked out quite well. This is how it looked digital. And so after all that was planned out, I started to color it in with just some normal pens. Nothing fancy this month, no gouache or whatever. And I used a pretty big mix of different pens. I used some Tombows, some Farber Castell, brush pens, Crayola super tips, and I will link as many of them as I can find in the description box. In the February setup, I added 2 cats. One is here in this illustration and the other on the calendar page, because I really wish I could have a cat or even any other pet, really. But due to the small apartment we have and also to some allergies, sadly, it's not possible to have a cat or anything else. Yeah, just a little side note on that. So after I finished the illustration, I cut it out of the piece of paper going around the drawing. And I actually ran out of glue tape here, so I used some clear tape in the end, found a bit of a solution with that. And it actually has a bit of a 3D vibe now, which I kind of like. And I added the month title and a little calendar. And I also outlined the page with another color, which creates like a little frame. And next to the cover page, we have my monthly reflection page, which is just something that I do every month. And there's not a lot to talk about here. I just did a few small changes to the stuff that I usually reflect on. Like I have a section to write the month in one sentence, to reflect on some monthly challenges, and a section to write about the next month, however that will look. Moving on, we are creating my monthly calendar spread as always, and I simplified it a bit compared to what I did in January. we have the normal calendar. I think the spacing is pretty much the same as last month, just that I moved the Saturday to the left page. And then we have next to that some goals and tasks section and my new favorite section, which is my monthly favorites space. And I just enjoy it pretty much to write down what I'm watching, eating, listening to through the month. It's a nice memory. Yeah, and as I already said a bit, I wanted to create a theme that is feeling light and cozy, since my January setup was quite dark, and winter here in Germany is just basically dark and grey, even though it gets a little better now. But yeah, I just wanted something that I can look at and that is making me feel comfortable. And to create this cozy theme, I used some of the washi tape stickers that the washi tape shop has sent to me. I made a whole video on that. And I link everything that I've used in the info box as always. And just in case that you want to get yourself something of that, you can use my discount code NielsNotes10 to get 10% off, and I get a little percentage of that. You don't have to pay anymore. And I guess that's a cool win-win situation for all of us if you want to support me. No pressure. And besides that, I also used this grid washi tape, and I believe some of it is from Stationery Pal. The narrow one with the dots on it, it's pretty hard to see in the video, is from Wish. I'm sorry, I probably can't find that again. And I also found this kind of pinkish grid washi tape in a bookstore, so I can link the exact one. Yeah, and I used all of these tapes kind of throughout the next pages and put this pinkish one on the page edges. And after that, I cut away like a 1 centimeter part of the right side to create kind of like a Dutch door. It's not really a Dutch door, but in my head it combines the calendar spread with the tracker spread, and they just belong together to me, and it's a way for me to make that more visual. My mind is weird sometimes, but it works for me. Yeah, and so we are already moving on to the reflection and tracker spread. And if you saw my January setup, you know that my tracker was a bit different there. And I decided to go back to what I normally do and what usually works for me. But I also added a lot of more stuff to my tracker section because I want to track my health, mental and physical wise more intensely. Because at the moment I'm figuring out a lot of stuff, and I believe that this will help me to understand things more clearly. And I was actually thinking about doing a separate video where I could talk a bit more in detail about this. So like how my tracker system helps me to understand my mental health especially better. So if you're interested, write that in the comments please, and I can do that. But in short, we have my usual graph section on the right side to track my mood, energy, stress and period. Usually I track my sleep in that as well, but I decided not to do that in there, but in the normal tracker section. And this is the space next to that on the left side of the right page. I'm sorry, I'm horrible at describing where things are on the pages. I hope you just can see that. But yeah, I have all my habits and symptoms on the left side there, and I separated in kind of categories, which you can see at the bottom of the tracker. And then on the left page I have 2 columns where I can write about something good, which is like a highlight of the day, but without the pressure of having to find something very spectacular and the best highlight or something. It's just something tiny good or something big good. And the reflection part next to that is for writing anything else, which would probably be related to my energy, mood or stress. Like for example, if I was on the train, and that always cost me a lot of energy. So yeah, that hopefully by the end of the month I can have a pretty clear picture of why my moods and my energy and all that stuff is the way it is, or was the way it was. Flipping over to the next page, I created the very later list, and that is something new. I had the idea through a book last month, and so this page is dedicated to write down any sorrows, anxieties, tasks that overwhelm me, etc. And the thought behind it is that you can decide if you want to look at your sorrows or anxieties, all that stuff, in the moment, and that often leads to lots of more stress and anxiety for me, and I get totally overwhelmed and in a downward spiral by doing that. And I figured in January that writing that down has helped me pretty much to stop overthinking and even to see things a bit more clearly and find solutions instead of just running around in circles, panicking and not getting anywhere. And if you struggle with things like that too, maybe it is something that could be helpful for you. In the book that I found that idea, it wasn't like write a list, it was more like you can decide to do that in your mind. But my mind always wants to write everything down, so yeah, that's what I do in my bullet journal. And last but not least, we have my YouTube page. Because I am at the time in my YouTube career, I mean that ironically, by the way, where I need some space for my video ideas, some planning sections, statistics and notes. Not that that helps in any way with sticking to a tight schedule, but it helps me to collect ideas and get an overview of what I want to do and how I want to do that. And that's already it. Before you guys leave, I have some small news. I am on Instagram now, and I thought that I never do that again. I had lots of Instagram accounts in my life already, more than the average person, I would say. And I honestly thought I was done with Instagram, but I want to share my creative and also a bit of my mental stuff, I guess. And I figured to get people to find it, Instagram is just the right place, and I couldn't find any other option for me to do that. I mean, I'm thinking about creating a blog or something, but one step at a time. And so yeah, basically I'm on Instagram now, and it will not only be bullet journal content. I want to post just whatever feels good and gets me inspired and happy, or what is on my mind and needs to get out. But yeah, if you A, want to see that, or B, if you ever feel like, oh, I'm recreating something from Nela's notes, then you can tag me over there and I can see it, and that would make me very happy. Yeah, links in the description as with anything else. And as always, if you like what I do here, consider subscribing to my channel, comment here, and you know how YouTube works, right? Do I still have to tell that? But it really helps me, it supports me, it motivates me. Yeah, so if you want to make someone happy today, do that. Alright, that's it. Thanks so much for watching. See you in my next video. Hope you're doing great, having a good time till then. Bye.